Talk about Caitlin Clark and DeWanna Bonner. Both of them have made comments about the upcoming WNBA season, and we all know, I mean, once they assembled this roster, the pressure was going to begin to...
The basketball world is holding its collective breath, and it's not because of a game-winning three-pointer or a ferocious dunk. No, it's because Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever's rookie supernova, and Kelsey Mitchell, the team's sharpshooting veteran, are both tangled in the clutches of the injury gods. Yes, folks, grab your ice packs, your emotional support foam fingers, and maybe a lavender-scented candle to soothe your nerves. Because the WNBA's latest plot twist is more dramatic than a Shakespearean tragedy set in a gym. Let's set the stage. The WNBA season is revving up, and all eyes are on Caitlin Clark, the Iowa-born phenom who's been torching defenses with the kind of long-range precision that makes astronomers jealous. She's the player who turned casual fans into diehards and made your uncle in Des Moines suddenly care about women's basketball. But just as the hype train for her rookie season was reaching full speed, a wrench, or rather, an ankle, got thrown into the gears.
Now, DeWanna Bonner, all right, she has come out. She's also...
And, because the basketball gods apparently love a good plot twist, Kelsey Mitchell's ankle decided to join the party, turning the Fever's backcourt into a walking MASH unit. So, what's the deal? Is this a minor hiccup or a full-blown crisis? Are Fever fans doomed to spend the season clutching their replica jerseys like life rafts? And why is the internet already declaring Angel Reese the victor in a rivalry that hasn't even fully ignited? Let's dive into the chaos, unpack the updates, and try to keep our cool while the WNBA universe teeters on the edge of pandemonium. The Caitlin Clark conundrum, a tweaked ankle, and a ticking clock, it all started with a whisper. Or rather, a limp. During a recent Fever practice, Caitlin Clark was spotted moving with the kind of caution you'd expect from someone navigating a minefield in flip-flops. Social media predictably erupted faster than a popcorn kernel in a microwave. Fans, analysts, and that one guy who claims he's a sports doctor because he owns a first aid kit all chimed in with their diagnoses. She's done for the season. One tweet wailed, complete with a cascade of sobbing emojis. Her ankle's toast, call the paramedics. Another declared as if Clark had just been airlifted to a trauma center. According to Clark herself, the issue is tightness in her left leg, likely the result of spending too much time in the gym. I love being in the gym, but I think I need to find a balance, she said in a presser, her tone as calm as a veteran dismissing a rookie's trash talk. It's nothing major, just something to be smart about. Translation: she's not headed for the operating table, and the Fever's medical staff isn't consulting ancient scrolls to summon a healing ritual.
Jen, her will to win, she wants to win, and that's been really fun, and getting to, run around with her is definitely better than chasing her around.
Yet, head coach Stephanie White, however, didn't exactly sprinkle fairy dust on the situation. In a tone that could best be described as Grim Reaper with a clipboard, White confirmed that Clark is very limited in practice. Now, in the grand lexicon of sports jargon, very limited is about as reassuring as a weather forecast predicting partly cloudy with a chance of meteors. It's vague, it's ominous, and it's enough to send Fever fans spiraling into a vortex of what-ifs. Is Clark's ankle just throwing a diva tantrum demanding a day off? Or is this the prelude to a season-derailing saga? To add fuel to the fire, Clark missed the Fever's first preseason game against the Washington Mystics due to this mysterious leg issue. The injury report caught everyone off guard, like a plot twist in a thriller you didn't see coming. There was no prior hint of trouble, no dramatic collapse, no slow-motion replay of her clutching her leg in agony. Just a sudden, unwelcome update that left fans Googling WNBA injury curse and wondering if the basketball gods had it out for Indiana. But here's the silver lining. Clark played in the Fever's second preseason game, a highly anticipated homecoming at Iowa.
She was asked about it after the game, and I thought her comments were telling because it's the kind of thing you want to hear from this team as they...
She didn't look like her usual self, less like a gazelle darting through defenses, and more like a gazelle who'd accidentally stepped on a Lego. Still, she gutted it out, logging minutes and proving that her competitive fire burns hotter than 1,000 suns. It's a promising sign, but the caution in White's voice lingers like a storm cloud. The Fever are being super cautious, as White put it, and with the regular season looming, every practice rep feels like a high-stakes gamble. Kelsey Mitchell's misfortune. The ankle gods strike again. As if Clark's ankle drama wasn't enough to keep Fever fans up at night, Kelsey Mitchell decided to join the injury party. Because why settle for one star limping when you can have two? Mitchell, the Fever's resident bucket getter and a player who can drop 30 points faster than you can say crossover, is now dealing with her own ankle issue. Details are scarce, because of course they are. But White casually,
That's like zero tolerance for that, There's no need. I think people sometimes fail to realize that we have a life outside of basketball, and we are human. So be fans, first of all,
White, ever the stoic deliverer of bad news, downplayed Mitchell's injuries with the kind of nonchalance you'd expect from someone discussing a parking ticket. She's fine with it playing through it, White said of Mitchell's finger. Her shot's a little funky, but she's efficient. As for the ankle, well, that's anyone's guess. The lack of specifics is driving fans to the brink, with some speculating that Mitchell's ankle is either A, totally fine, B, secretly shattered, or C, possessed by the spirit of a disgruntled former player. At this point, nothing seems off the table. The internet's meltdown, from Twitter to TikTok, chaos reigns. If you thought the Fever's injury woes were confined to the court, think again. The moment Clark limped off during practice, the internet transformed into a digital emergency room, with armchair orthopedists and self-proclaimed experts weighing in. Twitter, sorry X, exploded with the kind of frenzy usually reserved for a celebrity breakup or a fast food chain discontinuing a beloved menu item.
That's what we're here to put on the show for you to enjoy. And we enjoy. This is what we love to do. So don't make it, about that. Don't make it miserable for us to play that. Don't make it to where we're dreading to go out there and put on.
Caitlin's done for, one user screamed, their tweet adorned with enough crying emojis to fill a bucket. She tore her ACL, her MCL, and probably her Wi-Fi router. Another claimed, because apparently hyperbole is the internet's love language. TikTok wasn't far behind, with fans stitching together grainy practice footage and adding dramatic slow-motion effects, as if Clark's limp was the climactic scene in a Hollywood blockbuster. One particularly creative user set the clip to Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On," complete with captions like, "The WNBA will never recover." Meanwhile, on Instagram, meme accounts went into overdrive, photoshopping Clark into a wheelchair next to a crying Michael Jordan and declaring the Fever season cursed by ancient basketball spirits. And then there's the Angel Reese factor. Somewhere in Chicago, the Sky's star rookie is probably sipping a smoothie, scrolling through X, and chuckling at the chaos. Reese, who's been hyped as Clark's arch-nemesis in a rivalry that's already being billed as the WNBA's answer to Magic Versus. Bird didn't need to say a word to fuel the fire. Her fans did it for her, flooding comment sections with declarations like, "Angel won by default," and "Reese is about to cook while Clark's on crutches." Never mind that Clark's injury is, by all accounts, minor. On the internet, nuance goes to die.
The best show for you. So it's something that I think our organization, our team, and our locker room stick together and stand up for, and we're going to continue to do that. And we enjoy this game, so we want to keep it that.
The Clark-Reese rivalry, a showdown on hold? Let's talk about the elephant in the room, the Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese matchup that's been hyped harder than a Marvel movie premiere. On one side, you've got Clark, the sharpshooting sorceress whose range is so deep it should come with a telescope. On the other, there's Reese, the self-styled Bayou Barbie turned Chicago enforcer, who plays with the kind of swagger that could make a statue blush. This was supposed to be the game, the WNBA's version of Ali versus Frazier, except with step-back threes and ferocious rebounds. The build-up has been nothing short of cinematic. Clark's long-range heroics versus Reese's relentless paint dominance is the kind of matchup that deserves its own trailer, complete with explosions and a Hans Zimmer score. Fans have had this game circled on their calendars since draft day, and the anticipation has only grown with every viral highlight and spicy quote. It's not just a game, it's a cultural moment, a clash of styles and personalities that could define the WNBA's new era. But now, with Clark's ankle acting like a diva and Mitchell's ligaments staging their own rebellion, there's a chance this blockbuster could be postponed. The timing is downright Shakespearean. Clark finally steps onto the big stage. The lights are blazing, the crowd is roaring, and bam, her ankle decides it wants to take a nap.
Yeah, I think exactly what DB said. I appreciate Kathy and the league doing that. I think also our organization has done a tremendous job of getting out in front of those things too. Coach White has done a tremendous job.
It's like training for the Olympics for 4 years, only to trip over a shoelace during the opening ceremony. Meanwhile, Reese is probably doing defensive slides in her living room, whispering, "Come on, Clark, get healthy, I want the smoke." The irony is that Clark and Reese are both built for this kind of drama. Clark eats pressure for breakfast and probably sleeps with a basketball under her pillow. Reese, meanwhile, thrives on the spotlight, dishing out trash talk and double-doubles with equal flair. If anyone can turn an injury scare into a redemption arc, it's these two. But for now, the basketball world is left waiting, refreshing X for updates, and praying that Clark's ankle doesn't have any more surprises up its sleeve. Stephanie White, the bearer of bad news. If there's one person who deserves a medal for delivering bad news with the grace of a seasoned diplomat, it's Stephanie White. The Fever's head coach has become the unofficial Grim Reaper of injury updates, stepping up to the mic with a clipboard and a poker face that could make a statue jealous. "Caitlin's very limited," she said of Clark's status, her words landing like a sledgehammer on Fever fans' hopes. Kelsey's PI,
Well, I return to Eliza.
Hi, this is Eliza from the Fashion